Hey everybody, welcome back to Passive Money. I'm Kirby. This is Alex. Hey Alex, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
I'm going good, going good. Yeah, today I'm gonna come with a couple stories. Everybody on social media and stuff talks about the only the good that happens with passive income or online sales and all that. So we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're gonna talk about the worst transaction or the worst online sale you had with the customer. Just run us through that. What was it?
Right. So with my business being very direct with the customers, I kind of get like a one-on-one experience with most of them, other than some of the passive sales that happen. But um, I had one customer where I sold an item to him.
Before you do that, explain what your online business is.
Okay. So consists of mainly like military antiques. So if you haven't seen our video before, I'm a huge history nerd, history buff kind of guy. And so just in the realm of military antiques from really any era, if it's military related, I really like the history on typically World War One to probably Vietnam era. But anything else as well, I mean, I'll sell it if I find it and it's a good price.
So
Um,
one more question before we get into your crazy story. Is
yeah.
it did was you a history buff before you made your first flip on eBay, or did you
Oh
become a
yeah.
history buff after you
Oh
flipped it?
yeah. So I mean, probably 3 years old. And it was my godfather who told me all his war stories when I was just, instead of bedtime stories, it was like, shooting Japs out of the sky. So those were those were my stories from him. And I remember he showed me like, he had like a book of photographs from just crazy stuff like that you don't see in history books, like all different types of stuff that he had from the war. And that really started sparking my interest on like World War II. And from there, it was just always I always took an interest in it, in history in general. And then later down the road started getting hands-on with military antique items and started making it like a business basically.
All right, so now we got the history on what's the name of your business for your online antiques?
Mars Relics.
All right, so now we got the history on Mars Relic. So tell me about this bad event or bad situation you had.
So I had a situation where a customer of mine that bought an item through Instagram where there's no seller or buyer protection really. It's just kind of you work a deal out with each other. Shipped the item there and he claimed that he never got it.
Before we dig deeper, was this like when you first started out, or this was once you've been in the game for
No,
a while?
no, this is like, I mean, I had issues when I first started out, don't get me wrong, but
Right,
this was
right.
probably the highlight. This was probably it was a couple years into already selling. So he bought the item, I shipped it to him, um, and didn't hear from him, so I thought everything was good. Payment received. The item on the tracking number showed it arrived. I thought everything was good, and then probably a couple days after it arrived, he says, "Hey, I didn't want to bother you with this. I've been trying to fix the situation, but I never got the item."
All right, so I'm not familiar with the postal service. If the postal service say it's delivered, is it still your fault as the seller?
So if it shows delivered, no, it's not at all. I mean, it's out of your responsibility at that point if it shows delivered. Now, the problem that I faced with that was that, we did a transaction through PayPal and he went to PayPal before coming to me and told PayPal that he never got the item. So PayPal withdrew the money from my account and then gave it back to him supposedly, but the money actually never got to his account as he claimed,
So if I got this right, he never got the package and he never got the money.
and never got the money. And what would
Okay.
have been the easiest situation as if he came directly to me and said, "Hey, I never got the package," and I would have reimbursed him, because when you are selling on a platform like that where it's not eBay or Amazon, where that company can come between and resolve the issue between the seller and the buyer, you want to hold your end as a seller and hold up a reputable reputation. You don't want to be known for the seller that's going to scam you. So I would have gladly refunded him, but he went to PayPal. They took the money. We're supposed to give it to him. He never got it. And then he came back and asked me to still refund him. So
Okay,
that
wait,
makes,
wait, oh yeah, yeah. So before
yeah.
we get there, so what was his excuse? What was his excuse? Why he didn't receive it once and
Oh,
they had yeah, then and you had the receipt that said that it was delivered.
so he says that some kid or something ran over his mailbox, and he was trying to repair it in time, but he didn't have it up before the post office was going to deliver the package. And then apparently they left it at his doorstep, but it wasn't there. So it could have been stolen. I mean, anything could have could have happened. He could have even gotten the package and acted like it never arrived. So that's the other issue you face with that.
Okay. And so, post office and postal service have this thing like insurance. Why didn't the insurance from the postal service, did it work in your favor so he can get his money back? Could you use that?
Right. So with insurance, it's one good tip that I picked up from, and actually I mentioned this guy before in our video, was Doug, a guy that got me into selling and everything. He told me if the item is over $100, put sign, like they have to have a signature upon delivery, because if the post office claims that the package was delivered and the customer claims they never got the package, you will not get your insurance money. And it's just they just refuse to give you your insurance money, even though that seller is expecting a refund from you. So that creates a whole new problem.
Okay. So so the seller calls you and tell you all this, I didn't receive the package. So what was going through your head at the time?
I mean, it I was pretty upset, because I was mostly upset because he went to PayPal first. So PayPal took the money out of my account already, like the entire amount that he paid me for. And mind you, I I never charge for shipping, and that's just a incentive to get the buyer to buy. So I do free shipping. So I paid for shipping, and so I lose that money plus the money he gave me, and then I don't have the item. And then he came back to me and proceeded to ask for a refund when the refund is in the hands of PayPal. And it went on for like maybe a month or 2 months. Like it went on for a while. And I decided just to like clean the slate, I just reimburse him. We came to an agreement where I would reimburse him half, because at that point I'm 1.5 times out of my money. So we
Mm.
came to an agreement where I'd reimburse him half, and then I told him, no disrespect, but we can't do a deal again, because I can't trust that situation. And he stated that the post office often, misplaces packages in that location. So
So, all right, I got two questions there. All right.
yeah.
The, so did PayPal, since they took the money out of your account and you have proof that they took the money out of your account, did PayPal ever reimburse you the funds?
No,
Oh,
I
so
never,
you
yeah,
never
I
did.
just lost out of it. Yeah.
All right. So what do you think really happened in that situation?
It's it's hard to even say, but the way the situation seemed was like, I it's hard to believe that that many issues can happen in one situation. So it really made me think this guy probably took the package, kept it, and then proceeded to also get the money. He claims he never got the money from PayPal. After 6 months, I'm pretty sure PayPal is going to realize that they still need to reimburse this guy. Pretty sure he got the money from PayPal, and then he also got my money too. So I'd rather, and especially since it wasn't a huge high dollar item, I just, I'd rather clean that up and keep my reputation clean. And especially you want to save all your messages and all your information in that situation so you can prove to other buyers if they come at you with, no, I'm not buying from you. Only in a platform like that, in a community like that.
Yeah, and the antiques community is fairly small, so everybody knows everybody.
Right.
So in a situation like that, was you worried about your reputation being tarnished with this incident?
No, no, and it's because I mean, for one, you have to have relationships built. When you do hundreds or thousands of transactions, people know what kind of seller you are. So one situation like this, the buyers are going to be in your defense if it's brought up to them by another buyer, especially, buyers have reputations as well. So that buyer could have had a bad reputation with other sellers, and then they'll go around and say, do not sell to this buyer. So they all kind
So
of
did
look
you,
out for each other.
so did y'all have that conversation amongst the sellers about this guy here?
I think I brought it up to a couple guys, but I didn't want to cause any drama because that's never good for business either,
Right,
causing
right.
drama. But I just wanted to get that situation done with and move on. So
Yeah, it sounds like to me, just hearing the story, this is my first time hearing it. It sounds like to me the guy was good at gaming the system. He knew how the online sales and the postal service works. Especially when initially, and correct me if I'm wrong, initially when y'all did the transaction, was it through PayPal that y'all did the transaction?
yeah,
It was through PayPal. But and then in your transactions on PayPal, it shows that it was taken out by PayPal and reimbursed back to this individual, correct?
right, right.
And then y'all share screenshots, and then you show them screenshots and say, "Hey, it was
Yeah.
already sent back to you."
We even got on a three-way call with PayPal, and PayPal said, "Yeah, we've sent you the money." And he says, "Well, I never got it." So it's like, well, what am I supposed to think then as a seller? I can't see the server screens of PayPal where they're sending money. So all I can go off is the post office says they delivered it and PayPal says they gave you your money, but you're still asking me for a refund.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So last question is, do you think, or not do you think, but did that buyer, did he ever post any hate mail or messages on you? And how did he
Yeah.
take the fact? And how did he take the fact that you said you wouldn't do another deal with him?
No, I mean, he was upset that I said I would never do another deal with him, but he never posted any hate mail, but he did actually come back a couple times and say, "Hey, if you find this item, let me know." I was like, "Okay." I'm not gonna sell to you, so, but I just moved on from that as a whole.
Well, yeah, it sounded like you handled it like a champ, better than I would have handled it. That PayPal transaction would have been the last straw for me. I'm like, oh, well, there you go. You have your money, especially when you did all the concessions. You made sure everything was done. So, with that learning experience, is there anything that you do differently now because of that experience, so to prevent that from happening again?
Yeah, selling directly to buyers, I've done less of that. Now I still have great relationships with buyers that I've dealt with for years, and I'll still sell to them directly. But if it's a new buyer, I have to really, I prefer to direct them to like another platform in which I'm selling that same exact item. So really, you just have to take the extra steps and be careful. Like, not all people on the internet are going to scam you, but it's important to build those relationships with reputable buyers and sellers as well, but know who you're selling to.
Did you implement the signature upon receipt? Did you implement that also
Yeah.
in your?
Uh, yeah, no, exactly. If and I do that for if I'm selling directly or on a platform. If it's above $100, I'll let the buyer know, because you can also message your clients on like eBay, and let them know, hey, because this item is above $100, would you like me to place I normally put a signature on these orders. Would you like one? And they'll let you know if they do or not. I mentioned it to one lady. She said, don't worry about it. I live in a rural area. There's no one around. So you can just go ahead and have them leave it at the door. So
You know me, I'll be $3. I'll be like, I need signature receipts. I ain't paying an extra dollar after that. Yeah, I'll be like,
yeah.
nah, I need signature receipts on everything. I've been
Yeah.
screwed one too many times. But no, man, thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope a lot of people got something out of that. That, you know, it's not always uh, roses. You know, you go through, you know, trials and tribulations, you know, when doing your endeavors. But the key thing is you learn from it, you pivot it, change your business strategy a little bit to more protect yourself and protect the customer also, because now you have proof, especially with the signed receipts and or direct them to a platform that you can do the sale transaction. Again, protecting you and protecting them, because I mean, a new buyer, they don't know you from the next person. You know what I mean? You might have a good reputation, but you could have, you know, turned into a scumbag scammer or something like that overnight.
Yeah.
So a little protection for both of you, but it's good that you change your business model, you learn from your mistakes, and that's what business and everything is. You're going to make mistakes. The key is to learn from them, adjust your shot group, and come back and do it better the next time. But don't. I'm glad it didn't deter you and say, no, I can't do this. There's too many
Right.
people scamming, or paint a broad brush on everybody on the internet. So that's pretty good, man. So thanks. That was good sharing your story.
Yeah, no, and I mean on that too, like in that situation after it was done with it, I did feel that, right? Like, oh, I don't want to sell ever again. But really, you just like you said, you have to deviate from the making those same mistakes and implement new rules on how you're going to sell and just change how you're doing it.
Yeah, I believe in this mantra wholeheartedly. It's not wins and losses, it's wins and lessons. I mean, if or you know, when people lose, they just say, "Oh, I lost," but they don't take the time to find out why they lost.
Right.
If you study the reason why you lost, you will win more. I'm not saying that it would alleviate you from all losses, but it will minimize the number of times you lose. And then if you keep studying those, you'll keep, you know, getting better and getting better. And that's what this is all about. It's a long-term journey to provide financial stability for a long time. And you're going to make mistakes. Every endeavor I've been in, real estate, business, stock market, whatever. I mean, I've made mistakes and I've just learned from them. I didn't shut down, and that seemed like that's something that you did also, and that's why you're being successful doing your business.
Right.
But with all that being said, thanks for sharing the information. Hopefully, people got some good knowledge and tidbits out of that. And for everybody that's watching, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, comment in the comment section below. Maybe even give us some ideas of things that you do if you're an online seller, uh, of how Alex can improve that relationship part of the business.
Yeah.
He probably already doing it now, but we love to hear the conversation, to have further discussion. But y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all in the next video.
See you guys.